There we
That
go.
was
I was like, right off the bat.
welcome. Yep, already screwed it up. Welcome to the Hockey Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Bill Dean. I'm, of course, here with my two co-hosts, Schwim and Shorts Guy. We were brought to you by Primetime Radio, courtesy of Sam Wu and myself. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Please leave us a 5-star review if you would be so kind. Gentlemen, what are we drinking?
Good. Shorts guy, you go first.
So the last time that I was on, which I think was 2 weeks ago, it was cold, and I went with a winter beer.
Yep. Now it's warm.
This week it is warm, and on Friday, in celebration of said warm, I went with an old standby for when the weather is nice, for me at least. That is a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
I like it.
One of the original craft beers, and
Old
looks like
reliable.
Tread wants to visit
Tread.
for National Pet Day. Tread is visiting. She'll sniff my
It's
beer,
National
but she
Pet
will
Day?
not. It is.
Oh, wow. Hi, Mac and
It's
Minnie.
National
Pet Day.
Something day every day.
Yeah, it's always
yeah.
a day for something, but yeah, I didn't know it was Pets Day.
Right, Tread?
So
So that's my beer.
Shrimp?
I have a beer that was purchased by the lovely Cynthia from Tin Barn Brewing in, I think it's upstate New York. This is called Orchard Trees. It's a sour apricot, peach, and not just pears, but sun-kissed pears.
Ooh.
And
What
I'm
are
also
sun-kissed pears?
I don't know what the difference between a pear and a sun-kissed pear is, but
Well, now you're gonna have to find that out.
I'll have to do some research. And also, in honor of Steven not being here, I'm eating bagel chips and hummus.
I thought you were gonna say like a steak.
Really rubbing it in. No.
Yeah, really just show them. Not bad. I can hear the grease mixing with the chip.
Yes.
Tasty.
Grease. All right, so I got a cool bottle, and to go with that, because my New York Rangers clinched the playoffs this past weekend, little glass, nice little New York Rangers glass. But this one is called Poems Penny Each. It's a 2019 from the Reverend, and it is 100% spontaneously fermented aged ale in oak barrels with apple juice and honey added. So not vegan. Sorry, Steve.
Of course not.
Those darn bees.
Damn bees. So yeah, and it's a pretty cool bottle, and poems. I don't know what POMES, poems. NJ Wildflower Honey. So
Okay.
it's from Pennington, New Jersey. I'm gonna have to go to
nice.
Pennington and see if I can find this place. All right, it's
Which
got
is,
a
of
cork
course,
bottle top,
named
so
after
hopefully
the great Jets
Chad.
quarterback, Chad Pennington.
yeah, exactly. I don't want this
Yeah.
to pop and hit a ceiling tile. I can feel this on tight.
Thing's going to explode all over all your equipment, and
Blow everything.
podcast is going to
everything.
be off the
Just-
rails even more
Oh,
so.
you smell apple juice and honey right away.
There you go.
I like this. Not bad. Good pour, by the way.
A good
Good
pour,
color. Good hue.
except for the glass that it's in.
Yeah, good
you're-
pour, but a terrible glass.
Well, you want to talk about terrible shorts, guy? What
Let's do
happened
it.
this weekend to the New Jersey Devils?
Oh man, just this weekend. I mean, we can go back we can go back.
Yeah,
a
but
week.
what happened this weekend to the Devils that is of importance?
We were mathematically eliminated last weekend.
No, but I think you actually got the clinching out of the playoffs this weekend, right?
No, it was we had
was?
to basically not lose, starting with that Panthers game debacle. It was pretty much
debacle.
at that point. Yeah, it was pretty much from that point on. It was any dropping of points was just gonna
Pretty much it. Yeah.
pretty much be the end.
Solidify.
Solidify what we already knew was going to be the end. I mean, we were talking last night on the we were talking on Let's Go Devils podcast last night that it's such a Jekyll and Hyde team this year, and we've got a lot of players that achieved some really good personal stats and personal highs, career highs, but just the team itself just was not there. There was no team cohesion, and then obviously our goaltending is terrible. So it was inevitable that we were not going to make the playoffs. It was just a matter of when it was when we were mathematically eliminated, which was pretty much last week. However, when you're up 6-2 after 2 periods and you still lose 7-6, I don't think you have business being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But then again,
And
the
now it's
Panthers,
lottery time for them.
yeah, pretty much. But then again,
The Panthers have been doing that like a lot this year.
I was just going to say, it was
comebacks.
like a game or two later, the Panthers had a very similar comeback. So it's
Against
not
Toronto,
like
I think,
that was.
right?
Yeah, it's not like it's that type of comeback was out of character for the Panthers. It just seemed like it was a disaster for the Devils. Whether or not that was a typical Panthers, comeback or not, it was not fun to listen to. I was listening to it on the radio as I was working. I was like, "Oh, this is terrible."
Imagine going to that game and being there and all excited. Your team's up 6-2. You got to see 6 goals scored, and then this team comes roaring back, and it's a disaster from that point on. Oh my God!
So that's kind of the thing, so I was listening to the radio feed, which features friend of the network, Chico Resch, and they were saying during at some point during the second period they were saying, "Man, what a great game," because it was Nickelodeon weekend or something or whatever. They're like, "Oh, what a great weekend for all these new young fans to be here." 6-2 after 2, and like it was looking great, and what a great draw for brand new fans or fans that are not normally there. Blah 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 blah. And Chico and Matt were right.
Jinx.
And then the third period happened.
Double jinx.
It's like, oh, duh. It's like, oh, and here's why you're going to show that they're not going to want to come back. So it's like,
Yep.
This
is why we have to pay someone like Dougie Hamilton $2 more million than he's worth per season.
Yeah. So I can't wait to hear the. I can't wait to hear the marketing sales tactics that the reps are going to use when they call me. I think I have a new contact again. I think I get like 3 new contacts a season.
Okay, so obviously, I just wanted to do that because Shorts Guy was so nice to talk about how much my team sucks that I just wanted to lay in a little bit. But all right, so we will get into the topic of today's podcast, and that would be Mr. Austin Mathews, who, I mean, he's on a tear. I think, Schwim, when we were watching Monday's game, he had the hat trick, right? And he had that went from 50 to, was it 50 goals that he scored that game to 52? Or did he just break the 50 mark?
I thought he already did, and then he got to, wasn't he at 53? He was already at 50, and then he was at 53, or something like that. Or he was at 49 and went to 52, I forget.
Yeah, well, the point is, since then, he has scored 5 more goals in 3 games. He's at 58 on, what was it? Let me see this date. It was on Thursday.
And yes, we know his name is spelled wrong.
Yes, we do.
We realize that.
Sam Wu. He's highly educated, and he, so anyways,
if he has a problem with it, he can call into the show.
That's
Austin
true.
Mathews.
But Mathews made history twice on Thursday in the 4-3 overtime victory against Dallas. Scored his 50th goal of the season late in the second period, which passed Rick Vave to claim Toronto's single-season goal-scoring record. His 56 gave the Maple Leafs the victory in overtime and set the record for most goals by a U.S.-born player in a season. The most goals ever for a U.S.-born player in a season.
Really?
I mean, the guy
scored more than 58?
Yeah. Jimmy Carson and Kevin Stevens previously held the record for most goals by a U.S.-born player with 55. And yeah, I mean, Mathews, he's been awesome. He's got 58 on the season. He's only done this in 66 games, and obviously he's been fantastic. And I guess really the question is, 60 is now an afterthought. I mean, unless he gets injured and he doesn't get 60 that way, but
let's hope he doesn't.
Can he hit 70?
How many games remaining?
So
he got 10 games left?
Toronto, well, yeah.
Toronto, 10?
So all right, hold on. Because I should have looked at that before I did the question.
I want to look at their schedule because their their strength of schedule will be.
All right, so Toronto has 10
determine.
games left.
Mm-hmm.
10 games
Okay.
left, and they play in their schedule right now. I will give you the running tally. So this is their games. Versus Buffalo, that's got to be a goal, right?
There you go.
Hat trick.
Versus
Hat trick at
Washington,
least.
that's another goal because their defense stinks. Ottawa, another goal. The Islanders, which could stifle them.
Yep.
They play that kind of the game.
Could.
Philadelphia Flyers, absolutely a goal. At Tampa, it depends on if Vasi.
That should. That
he
should
can
be
score
five.
again.
Might.
That's,
Yeah, but
that should be
Vasi
five.
might get unhappy and
He'll
stumble.
He'll outdo himself from the previous game and score 4 or 5 just to make me happy.
You have at Florida, at Washington, versus Detroit, versus Boston. I think he gets to 70.
All these games he could. All these games he could score a goal or two easily against all these teams.
Easily,
I mean, listen,
he can.
He's not playing Shesterkin, so it's he's got a much
better
schedule.
Oh boy, blah blah blah.
Blah.
This guy.
No, but I mean, this guy, he's been on a heater. He's continually to. So this is my other question, and I was thinking about this. Is he the best overall scorer we've ever seen? Goal scorer. He does everything, right? From clappers to wrist shots to right in the goal mouth, just dirty goals. He scores every single kind of goal. The ones, that are just filthy and you can't believe he just dangled 5 people and scored a goal. He does all those. Ovechkin, when you think of Ovechkin, you think of the clapper from the point from the dot, right? That's his goal. Gretzky, his 92, I guess I can't think of a Gretzky definite, this is how he always scored his goals, right? He was just so smart and everything that he did was methodical. But I don't remember Gretzky having a clapper where he could just pinpoint roof, and bar down. I don't remember that being Gretzky. And you look at some of the other goal scorers. Is he the best overall goal scorer, at just every single type of shot?
I think Ovechkin is most powerful goal scorer, can just power through from anywhere. I think Austin Mathews is the best.
He's the
right
Bill
now,
Dean of ice hockey.
He's I don't know about that, but he's the best. Maybe pure goal scorer. He can score in any kind of situation, whether it's whatever he's playing or in any different way. He's always. Ovechkin's kind of he's always a threat when he's on the ice. Same thing with Mathews. So I think Mathews. I don't know. I think it's because I'm leaning towards Ovechkin just because he's been around longer and been doing it for longer. But I don't know. Austin Mathews is just, to me, it's just like Ovechkin. He can score anytime he's on the ice from any way you can dream of. He can score.
The only other person I was thinking about was Brett Hull. I remember Brett Hull being able to do it.
Hull's like that too. Yeah, Hull was like that too. Anytime he was on,
that's a very good.
He was a threat.
Comparison.
He was a threat to score. Especially when a power play. They got a power play and he jumped over the boards. It was huge threat. Same with Ovechkin. Ovechkin's a huge threat on the power play. Mathews is a huge threat on the power play. He's also a huge threat when you leave him wide open in front of the net multiple times during the game, as I got to witness.
A good segue with Schwimm's big threat on the power play. Leon Draisaitl, Austin Mathews, Chris Kreider is sitting at 49. He's got I don't know how many power play goals. I think he leads the league, which is, it's absolutely a career year and something that it'd be awesome if you match this again, but I just can't see that
more than
happening.
half his goals power play goals?
Yeah, so he's 25 power play goals. He has 49 goals total. Yeah, over half.
Nice.
Draisaitl is 20. He's also 50. So the point I was making is that you have 58, you have 50, you have 49, then you have Ovechkin at 45, Connor McDavid 42, and Kaprizov and Kyle Connor at 42 each. So the NHL hasn't had 3 50-goal scorers in one season since 2009-2010. That was Crosby, Stamkos, and Ovechkin. We haven't had more than that since 2005-2006 when Chichu, Yager, Ovechkin, Kovalchuk, and Heatley. So 5 guys. Do you think we could get 5 guys?
Well, Kreider's definite, right? He'll be number 3, right? When he gets it. All right, so then
I would think Ovechkin's
will
5 off.
He'll be 4. Yeah. He'll be the 4th, right?
And then there's 3 tied at 42. Do you think McDavid, Kaprizov, or Connor get from 42 to 50?
I don't think all of them will, but maybe we get one of them. I don't know about all of them.
Well,
again, it depends on who they're playing and what their schedule's like, and if if any of their coaches decide to say playoffs are coming up next week, you're going to sit today, you're going to sit
Yeah, they
today,
could
you're going to, you know what I mean?
sit
You
in the
Yeah,
could
game.
I
also
mean,
get into that situation. You would think that maybe if a player was at 47, 48, you know, the coach would be like, all right, well, maybe I'll let you play. But the coach may also look at the situation and be like, no, we really want to rest you going into next week
Mhm.
with our playoffs to begin and stuff like that.
yeah. So McDavid has 10 games remaining. Kaprizov and Connor both have 12 games remaining to get 8 goals. The
Mhm.
other thing is Minnesota's sitting comfortably, so I could see them saying, "Hey, Kaprizov, take a night off."
Yeah,
McDavid and Connor are both in playoff races, even
yeah,
though
they're battling. McDavid's going to play the whole
Winnipeg's
way.
going to be tough. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
is
McDavid's
think
going to
Connor.
play the whole way.
I think McDavid, out of those three, I think McDavid, obviously,
He
he's
has
the
the
most
better
skilled at
shot.
all of them, and I think he has the best shot out of those three to reach 50.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty cool. We could see that many players hitting 50, which is awesome.
That is cool.
So Craig Bass, this goes back to Shorts guy for he's talking Devils before. Hey Shorts, with MB30 in our organization, what can we do to fix this debacle of our goalie situation realistically?
Realistically,
Facebook Live,
whoever's
everyone.
been scouting,
Free agent.
because I believe Brodeur
Scouting.
has been on the, I believe Brodeur has been primarily on the business side of the equation. If he's not been any of the goaltending scouting, he may have to step in because whoever is scouting their goaltending, it might be Scott Clemenson. I'm not 100% positive. If it's Fitzgerald, that's terrible. We have to um, get a better grasp on who can come in. Obviously, whoever they're selecting, we need to do better medical screening. Thinking about the history, we had a guy retire before the season even started. We had a guy go down before, a quarter of the way through the season, out with injury, an injury that was known, which is annoying. We've had injury problems. We've had no real solid starting goaltender. We
Your
brought in
depth
at the
is
trade
terrible.
deadline. Well, see, here's the thing. I think a bright spot in the goaltending has been Nico Dawes.
Yeah.
I think he's been a bright spot for throwing a 20-year-old into the mix and being like, "Hey, guess what? You're an NHL starter now." For throwing a
And
20-year-old that was
when I meant
into the mix
depth,
is,
I know that bringing Dawes up is a good thing, but just because the Rangers, I know them, right? So you have someone like Shesterkin, you have Georgiev, and then in the AHL, you have the ex-Devil. Oh man, now I just blanked on my own.
oh, you have, Kincaid.
Kincaid. So having that vet in the AHL or somewhere down the pipeline is a very important thing for a team that's contending, and you could see that happen with a lot of teams.
See, but what the Devils don't have is Nico Dawes in the Rangers system, like you're describing, would be in the Keith Kincaid position because we don't have anyone above him. We
Well,
we don't
that's what I
have a
mean. I think
bona
they should
fide.
have.
Yeah, they should have. I don't, and like the bringing in the Hamburglers, that still perplexes me, because he's looked awful. And now I know he's coming back, and I know how hard that is to come back from not playing. I'm about to have that experience myself shortly. But I think what they need to do is they need to whoever's making these decisions needs to stop making the decisions that they're making. They need to bring someone in who can scout goaltending talent, and they need to go after an established starting goaltender. And we were talking last night on the podcast. Scotty has been dying to get Hellebuck in here into our organization,
You're
hopefully
gonna pay
via
a lot.
trade or something like that.
Yeah, there's two free agents
You know what, though?
that are available this offseason.
Who is available? Is
Anderson
Hellebuck
and
available?
Freddie Anderson,
Anderson?
and no, Freddie, the better Anderson, and what's his face, Darcy Kemper are both free agents.
Okay, so Darcy Kemper wouldn't be terrible either. But
Or
the
Freddie,
other one
Freddie
that,
Anderson.
yeah, but we need to
The Freddie
bring
Anderson's
in.
31.
I think we need to bring in at all costs right now an established goaltender because we don't have one.
Yeah.
We do not have one.
So Fleury, obviously 30. He's going to be 38. Mikko Koskinen's 34. He stinks. Darcy Kemper's 32. He's going to be 33. You have someone like Grice, Halak, Korpisalo. Korpisalo's not a bad one. I could see him being a decent like 1A, 1B.
I don't want a 1A, 1B. I want a 1.
Yeah.
I want a 1 because we've heard 1A, 1B, all the same crap for the last couple of years. 1A,
It's
1B.
hard to get.
I know it's hard to get, but I really think that we need to. I also think if this playoff run breeds a little bit of contempt, you know what? You know who might want to be out of Minnesota is Cam Talbot.
Yeah, he's older though.
He's really only 34. He's 34. You know what though? At 34, to have even if it's an experience, bring an experienced,
he's gonna be 35
starter. We need someone.
Yeah,
I think any of those guys are an upgrade to what you have right now.
So he's got 3 years. 3 years remaining on his contract.
So why not one of them? Oh wow.
Yeah, why not one of them is exactly it. I was making a joke last night on the Let's Go Devils podcast. There's that Simpsons episode where I forget what Bart's trying to get at a Homer, and he pulls a card out of his pocket and says, "Do the opposite of what the boy says." I think that's what whoever's scouting goaltending for the Devils needs to have a card to pull out when they're thinking about making a move, and you go, "Do the opposite of what you think."
You kids do need a babysitter.
That's what I forgot there. It was about.
Yep.
Darn it! Blast that infernal card.
Don't give that card
give
to me.
The card. Everything can be turned into a Simpsons reference. That's the best part about life.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my. So for Craig, that's my best. That's my long-winded answers. We need to start in the front office and find out who's evaluating and targeting this goaltending talent, and change it from there on out, and then be willing to pay up for a bona fide starter.
Yeah.
Over the summer.
That's
Craig
says
that's
we're
our
deflating
big
our
miss.
youth movement with no solid tender. It's brutal. Sam Wu, I think we have a 3A and 3B.
That's about it.
3C.
Sam's right.
Yeah. What about that kid who won? What about that kid who won the Hobie Baker? Is he a free agent? Was he signed by anybody?
Yes,
he is. A free agent.
You wrote in my show sheet, man.
Oh, my bad.
No, all right, so let's talk about it quickly. Schwim is talking about Dryden McKay, the Minnesota State goaltender who won the Hobie Baker. He is free to sign with any team.
And he didn't even win the award for best goaltender, and he wins Hobie Baker.
No, yeah.
Right? Didn't somebody else win best goaltender?
He was 24.
He's the first goaltender in a while.
Yeah, top men's player in NCAA ice hockey this season, ahead of Bobby Brink, who's a Flyers prospect, and Ben Myers, who's the undrafted forward from Minnesota. McKay was not selected. He can sign with any team.
There you go, Devils.
A top 3 finalist for the second straight season after going 38-4. He ranked second in the nation, 127 goals against and a 934 save. Tied for second with 10 shutouts in 42 games. He's Player of the Year and Central Collegiate Hockey Association Goaltender of the Year. Top 3 finalists for the Mike Richter Award as top goalie in the nation. So top 3 finalists never won. The award went to Devon Levi, the obviously Buffalo Sabres Canada goalie.
Not a bad goaltender himself.
No, he's good too.
He's the first player from Minnesota State to win the award. He's the third goalie to win the award and first since Ryan Miller, Michigan State in 2001.
That's who it was.
So
wow.
20 years.
Ryan Miller turned out to be a pretty okay goaltender in my.
He has an NCAA record, 34 shutouts in 4 college seasons, and second in wins with 112 behind only Marty Turco.
That's 34 more collegiate shutouts than I have.
Yeah, I wonder where he's going to go.
You know what? If we sign, but here's my thing. Let's say the Devils do pull off some kind of a miracle and do something smart for once, and they sign him, and they bring him in. I do not want to see him for at least 3 years.
Yeah, he's got to develop.
Devils. I want him. I want him in Utica. Right in. You cannot throw him right in. Start him in Adirondack, and then maybe bump him up to Utica, and then from Utica bring him up to the Devils. Do not sign him and think he is the guy, because we're trying that, and we've been trying that. But at some point, one of these goaltenders if it's going to be one of these guys that we have in the system, at some point they have to come in and step up and say, this is my net, and run with it, but then play that way as well. I mean, Brodeur did it in '94. He took the reins away from Chris Terreri, and then the rest is history. Good old Chris Terreri. He's a nice guy. I got a chance to meet him a couple times.
Yeah, I've seen him a couple games. He's a really nice guy. All right, boys. Let's get off the Devils for a little bit. I'm sure we'll come back with another question. But Sidney Crosby, the Pittsburgh Penguins, obviously a pretty good win against the Predators in overtime. He nets his 1,400th point. He had 3 points in the game. He has the most points in NHL regular season overtime history, not playoff history, overtime in the regular season history. So that came along with Malkin's, cross-check to Mark Borowiecki's face. He has a player safety hearing. I didn't see anything. Did you guys see if he is suspended? Anybody?
I just heard that he's having a hearing. I haven't heard.
Yeah, so he had the hearing. I do expect him to at least get 2 games. I would assume they follow the Mathews path. But yeah, so he's scheduled for it. Player safety hearing is tomorrow. Monday. Oh no, so yes, tonight. So we should hear about that soon.
Maybe we can break it on the podcast.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But we're in the trust tree, right? This is a trusting group right here. I'm scared of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm a little worried now that I'm going to be, especially because it always happens when you have some team's number in the playoffs, they most likely spank you, or in the regular season, they most likely spank you on the other way. So, first round matchup with the Pittsburgh Penguins, I obviously want home field advantage, a home rink advantage. But yeah, I'm nervous. I think Sidney Crosby's starting to play, how he's.
All these East series are going to be awesome. Every single East series is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun playoff to watch.
Yeah, but I know we joked about it a couple of weeks ago saying that Pittsburgh Penguins would win the Stanley Cup. They make me nervous. They really do. I won't say that to Steve when he's here, but scares the crap out of me. I need Jari to have an absolutely fantastically awful postseason again, like last year.
Which could happen. You never know.
Yeah, it could.
It could.
Same thing with Toronto. Mathews could score 70 goals in the regular season and then be garbage in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Imagine.
What's his name from the Panthers that was got traded there from Montreal? Just shut him down last year, right? That Marner line. You could do it again this year. Yeah, absolutely. MVP race. We talked about Crosby. There's 7 names, I think, or maybe even 8 names that I think could be in the MVP player race. And they have to, all these, so-called pundits and experts have to whittle these 8 names down to 5 in order to make their MVP ballot. And tell me if you guys think I'm wrong or if you should add any ballots. Austin Mathews is obviously going to be in it. Yeah. If guy goes 60 goals, he's going to be in there. Roman Josi is going to win the Norris. He's been fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And I absolutely believe that he's the MVP of that team. Without him, they would be absolutely terrible. Connor McDavid, I just think that his points and what he does, he is the best player in the league, and people are always going to have him in there. Shesterkin, because you could, and I add him because you could see when he had the couple bad games how badly the Rangers were, even when he's not bailing them out, which makes it even more apparent.
You better hope like hell he doesn't get hurt in the last 10 games because you're screwed if he does.
Absolutely.
You are screwed.
Kaprizov, who's had a fantastic year, deserves to be an MVP, chatter. Crosby, he's the 3rd leading point scorer since he came back from that, from COVID, and he's been playing awesome. Huberdeau, and I have Johnny Hockey, Johnny Gaudreau.
Definitely. I think I would put a lot of those guys ahead of, no offense, Shesterkin and Crosby.
Okay, so what would your rankings be right now?
Like if I'm doing 5, I was going to pick 5. I was going to pick
do 5.
5. It was going to be Austin Matthews, McDavid, obviously, because he's leading the league, I think, right? Again? Yeah, him and Huberdeau, because he's having an unbelievable year, like out of nowhere. Not really out of nowhere, but like I don't think it was expected that Huberdeau would be the 2nd leading scorer in the league, this year. So I think that's a pretty amazing accomplishment for him. What did I say? Matthews, McDavid, Huberdeau, Johnny Hockey, and I have all forwards. And who the hell am I forgetting?
Crosby.
Who's the other forward? No, Draisaitl.
Well, oh, you're putting Draisaitl in there.
Yeah, he's having an awesome season again. He's freaking amazing. I know it gets old, like him and McDavid winning and leading the league in scoring every year, but like they're friggin' amazing players.
Yeah,
I don't know. Shesterkin, don't get me wrong, I have him up there, but I don't think I have him in my I wouldn't put him in my top 3. Maybe he can crack the top 5, but I don't know. I think he's like right around that fringe, like 5-6. He's having an awesome season. Don't get me wrong, but like Huberdeau, Mathews, and like McDavid and Gaudreau are, I think, their seasons are much. I don't know. I don't want to say more deserving of the award or anything, but like I don't know. I just see them as in the top 3 or top 4.
Yeah, I'm going. People will probably give me shit for this. I don't care. It's Mathews, it's Yossi, it's Shesterkin, it's Crosby, and it's Huberdeau. I'm leaving out McDavid and Draisaitl. I think that they're both having such ridiculous years. They almost cancel themselves out.
Okay.
And I know that hasn't happened in years past, and I understand
Yossi I would have up there too. But again, not top 3.
Yossi, absolutely. And I
hands down Norris, but not for the MVP, I don't think.
Shesterkin had those bad games, and I was like, all right, he's going to fall out of the MVP race. But that actually, when I thought about it, it more solidified the fact that if he does not have an A game, this team does not do well. And that solidifies MVP for me. That he doesn't need to win it, but he needs to be nominated. I guess for me, it has to happen. Shorts guy, you got anything?
I don't know if he's a finalist.
I'm gonna say that if Mathews can break 70 goals,
it's
he
his.
Definitely has it's his. If he gets 12 more goals than he has right now, but I think it's definitely my top 3 in no real particular order would be Mathews, McDavid, and Huberdeau. I don't know if I would put Shesterkin in that top 5 or top 3. I mean, he's
all right.
Obviously a really important player for the Rangers.
That's what I'm saying. I can't put him in the top 3. He's right there though, but I can't put him in the top 3.
Yeah, I mean he is absolutely important to the Rangers. But where are you? You're second in the Metro. You got 100 points.
I don't want them to get first because if they get first place, they're going to play Schwimm's Tampa Bay Lightning.
Maybe.
And I am not going to like that. No, because pretty much Florida pretty much has in the bag.
Florida's going to wrap up the division. Tampa's in 3rd right now. It's between like Tampa and Boston are kind of going back and forth with each other. So you might get, if you win the division, then you might play Tampa or Boston first round.
Yeah, I just don't.
That's what I'm saying. Every single East first round matchup.
It's not fun. Nuts. It sucks.
It's going to be crazy.
The only one that's going to be, and I say easy, being the easiest of the 5 of the 4 is Washington and whoever and Florida. I think that Washington's the easiest.
I think that'll be a good series. I don't know. I don't think it'll be like
they're definitely the easiest.
It's not going to be like they're not going to roll over them.
Oh, and Anson Carter saying that what's his name, the defenseman? John Carlson deserves the Norris because he's having a good season. Get
the hell out of here!
Stupidity. Just he's not a Norris candidate.
Has he heard of Roman? He could be a candidate. I don't give a crap. But has he heard of
no?
Roman Yossi?
He's not even top 3. There's no way he's even top 3.
Who else is who's second in scoring? Aren't him and Hedman tied for second or third in defensive scoring? That's all it goes by now. It only goes by scoring.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it is dumb how that happens, but
they really need to do another because they do best defensive forward. They need to have the best overall defenseman or something award, and then have best offensive defenseman award.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But on the same token, isn't the best defense not having it in your own zone, and an offensive defenseman keeps it out of your zone, right? Like Adam Fox, the Rangers are always on offense. Kel McCarr, Rangers are, Colorado's always on offense. Same thing, Tampa. Hedman's out there. You're most likely on offense. So here, Yossi has 87 points, 68 assists. The guy's a beast. He might hit 100 points, which would be crazy for a defenseman.
I hope he does.
So he's at first. Cale Makar's second with 77. He's 10 points behind Roman Yossi. That's how good Roman Yossi's year is.
It's crazy.
Cale Makar does have 25 goals, which is absurd for a defenseman too. Third is defensive points, Victor Hedman at 68. Fourth is Adam Fox at 67. And then you don't see John Carlson until 62. I mean, listen, John Carlson's a very good defenseman. He's
Anson
not
Carter was just like, he was having a good week. John Carlson was having a good week. He's like, oh, you should be a Norris. He's having such a good week. Like, no.
God.
Stop it.
Terrible.
Stop it,
Yeah.
Anson.
Shut up. Yeah. All right. So we'll get back to keep getting sidetracked. Ryan Getzlaf to retire at the exactly. Ryan Getzlaf to retire at end of season. The guy's 36. He is, one of the premier. He's the face of Anaheim Ducks. I mean, I know you might say Timo Solane or Paul Correa. I think that he's, right up there. That big bald head of his.
Yeah, he was the second. He was the second class of not second class isn't like second best, but the next class of the faces of that franchise. You had Correa and Solani start it, and then Getzlaf came in, and he was that next class of
him and Corey Perry
faces of the franchise. Corey Perry, yeah. Even to a degree, well, no, I guess Jaguar would be part of that first class.
Yeah. Okay.
I was reading, it was, last of the 2003 NHL draft class. And, with him retiring, there's not many people left. So I was trying to find where that article was. It was, sorry. So if we look at who's remaining in the 2003 class, I want you to see, I want you to tell me who you think is going to be the last person to play a game in the NHL as of the 2003 class. You have Patrice Bergeron still going. You have Eric Stahl. Oh, no, Eric Stahl's gone, sorry. You have Ryan Suter. You have Brent Burns. You got Fleury. You got Joe Pavelski, Zach Parise. Corey Perry's still going. I think he's going to be done pretty soon, though.
Yeah, he's still going. Probably not for much longer.
Yeah, not for much longer. Jeff Carter. You got Patrice Bergeron. Did I say Patrice Bergeron?
You said him already, yeah.
Yes, you did.
Okay. And I'm starting to run out of some names. Louis Erickson.
Yeah, no.
Brian Boyle. Not about Boiler.
Oh, wow. The two that jump out immediately to me that could, I think, still play are Bergeron and Ryan Suter. Suter's like always. He's just there and he's a good skater and everything. And I mean, he's definitely not what he used to be, but I don't know. I could see his longevity, him and Bergeron's longevity, or I think they could keep going. Corey Perry's not. I mean, he could possibly. He's like a fourth line player now, not getting many minutes and everything, not really playing those big minutes like he used to when he was on Anaheim and whatnot. So maybe he could last a little bit longer, but I don't know. I think Bergeron is probably the top one for me.
All right, Shorts, you got a choice? Who do you think the last guy?
The first one that stood out to me would probably be going the longest will be Bergeron. And as much as I hate him, I would have to say that Zach Parise might have a chance at having some longevity, taking in that third, fourth line with the Islanders. He just re-signed. I forget what he signed at or what he signed for. He has the potential of possibly, being there as well as some of the last players.
I'm not going with either of those guys. I am going to go with.
Is there any goalies on that list?
Yeah, Fleury.
Fleury's the only one?
Fleury.
Yeah, it's Fleury. I'm going to go with.
I cannot hold on. I can't remember who the Rangers drafted that year.
I hate you. It's all right. You don't even like the guy you don't even like the guy you drafted. Devils fans booed him out of town.
No.
Yes.
No, he
found
his own way out of town.
I don't want to hear it. I'm going to go different from both of you guys. I'm going to go with the second all-time active leader for NHL games played, Brent Burns. I am going to say that him and his league leading 694 points and 39 game-winning goals by a defenseman since 2003-2004 when he entered the league, and second in the position from the 2003 class in goals with 210. I'm going to say that it's Brent Burns is the guy that leads, that finishes it off, that 2003 draft class.
Okay.
Wow.
Also, he is only, how old is Brent Burns? He is 35.
Oh yeah, he can.
Sorry, he's 37.
Another 5.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
37.
yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I mean, what's Zdeno Chara's playing at? What, 40 something?
Very true.
Yeah.
I mean, defensemen sometimes don't have to move at all.
No, and he can
36.
eventually shift to an even more, 5-6, role with a young team with a young core. Maybe there is more of just a veteran presence than anything else.
And his team doesn't
I'll
make the
tell you
playoffs, so he's not putting a lot of miles on it.
Yeah, no mileage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And living out there in California is not really that tough of a life either. But if not for nothing, why am I blanking on this name? If Joe Thornton does call it a day in the next year or two, someone's got to live on with a massive beard in the league.
Yes.
It's got to be. He's got to stick around just for the beard.
Yeah. We did talk about Ryan Getzlaf, though. He's going to retire at the end of the season. So far, 1,151 games played, 1,013 points, 731 assists, a great playmaker, almost 1,000 penalty minutes. And this kind of led me to, I sent you guys the little tweet that I saw where basically Andrei Svechnikov laid a bunch of big hits on Ducks players, and Getzlaf just wanted to fight him the entire time. He just kept going after him. Finally, Svechnikov kind of a little cheap, maybe leg trip, and Getzlaf just went off and started just trying to attack him wherever he could. So pretty good, video on Twitter, so go check it out. Getzlaf was incensed. But yeah, a guy that, great teammate, great captain. You think of those Canadian teams winning cups. Canadian teams winning gold medals. Him winning his cup with the Ducks early in his career. Him and Corey Perry. But just one of the class acts in the league, and a guy you want on your bench, a guy that you want out there. And that Anaheim draft in 2003 with him and Corey Perry, might be the best in that class, and maybe one of the best drafts that a team's had, in quite a while. They did, lights out with that pairing. Anything else? So I wanted to get a little bit into playoffs. Ducks actually were eliminated. That's 4 straight. They were doomed by that Gibson struggles in his trades. They joined the Kraken, Devils, Sabres, which have 11 straight years of no playoffs, Blackhawks, Red Wings, etc.
You had to throw that in for JJ.
Yep.
Poor JJ.
Poor JJ.
One of these days.
Hurricanes, Rangers, and the Leafs all clinched this weekend. Jets are gaining ground while the Kings kind of fall. The Kings, I was looking at playoff standings, and we can go over this right now. I was looking at playoff standings, and I think the Kings are in the most trouble of not making the playoffs when you look at the standings. You have in the Western, we'll just do Western, then we'll go Eastern Conference after that. But so you got Colorado, they're shoo-ins, Wild shoo-ins, Blues shoo-ins. So those top three teams are in. That fourth team is Nashville Predators, 87 points. I think that they obviously make it. And that would be the top 4 in the Central. The Dallas Stars at 86 are, kind of working around. In the Pacific, you got Calgary at 97 points. They're shoo-ins. You have Edmonton Oilers at 90. I think they make it. They always make you nervous because they have no goaltending, but they're in. And then the other team is the Kings. So right now, the Kings and the Stars are tied at 86 points. The the Stars have a game in hand. They're at 72. The Kings have played 74. Sorry, they have 2 games in hand.
2 games. 2 games.
And then the Golden Knights have a game in hand on the Kings, and they're only 2 points back of the. The Knights have a game in hand of the Kings and are only 2 points behind. I think if the playoffs were to end today, I would say that the playoffs are going to be Avs, Wild, Blues, Predators, Stars, Flames, Oilers, and Golden Knights. You think the Kings get ousted? Who's your team on the outside looking in?
This is tough.
This is tough because this
Because
is
I don't trust Dallas
this
either.
is
Dallas
tight.
is so like
Yeah.
they're
Dallas
not
lost to the
consistent either.
Devils this weekend. Dallas
Also,
lost to the
consistent either.
Devils this weekend.
Also, what's terrible, Dallas has only 27 regulation wins. That is terrible.
Yeah. LA's only got
right,
29.
yeah, well,
LA's 2 ahead of them.
Yeah. It's just bad for a playoff
Everybody
team.
else is 32 and up.
Yeah. So who do you think is not making it? Gun to your head.
That's a tough one.
It's really out of the Stars, Kings, and Knights. One team's not making it.
Yeah.
I think you guys agree Predators are most likely making it. I'm pretty.
Yeah.
I think they're better than all 3 of those teams. Predators are better
Absolutely.
than LA, Vegas, and Dallas. So I think they would make it.
I think Dallas, because the games played, the games at hand, I think they make it. They have 2 more.
Yeah, they got
2 games
one
over
game.
Kings.
They have 2 games over the Kings and 1 over Vegas.
One over Vegas. Yeah.
I don't know, but they're so
That's if
like
they
them.
don't-
Like all 3 of these
That's
teams
if
are
they
so
don't continue
inconsistent.
to lose to teams like the Devils.
Yeah, you can't afford to lose games like that.
No.
Are you saying Stars?
I'm gonna say, damn, this is tough.
Kings
is
are
very
falling
tough.
like a rock. Kings are
Yeah,
4-4 and 3 last
they're
10.
not playing well right now. Yeah, I'll say Vegas
Dallas.
overtakes them. Even though before I think I was not believing in Vegas at all because of how inconsistent they were. I didn't think they were going to make it at all. But
Yeah.
I think
back.
they'll keep.
They got some guys back.
I think they'll keep the streak alive. They'll keep their playoff streak going, and they'll make the playoffs. And the Kings won't.
Think about that really quickly. This is the first time Vegas has ever had to fight for a playoff spot since
I know
they've
they've had luxury every year. These assholes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shorts guy, who doesn't make it? Gun to your head real quick.
I'm looking right now at schedules.
That's what I kind of wanted to see too. I wanted to see like each team's schedule, but I just went by
All right,
gut.
So LA has a pretty easy schedule. LA's final games: Chicago, Colorado. That's not easy. But Chicago, Colorado, Columbus,
Colorado
Anaheim,
could be
Chicago,
resting people.
Anaheim. They could be resting people. Chicago, Anaheim,
play
Seattle,
them, yeah.
Vancouver. So the Kings are playing a lot of teams that are out of it.
They should be able to
and
win
could
a lot of those
potentially-
games.
They should be able to win a lot of those because those teams could potentially be giving some of their minor league guys some tryouts. Vegas has a pretty tough schedule. Looking at that, they've got Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, the Devils. That should be an easy one. Washington, San Jose, Dallas, Chicago, St. Louis. And then the last team.
That Dallas Vegas game, that could be a crazy game.
yeah.
That's at the end of the season.
Playoff game. Yeah.
That could be like a huge.
That could be. Yeah, that Vancouver
That could
game.
be a big game.
Third to last for the Stars. The Stars have Tampa, Minnesota, San Jose, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Seattle, Vegas, Arizona, and Anaheim.
Yeah, that third to last game right there against Vegas. That could be a huge one.
Yeah, I think that game could determine who it is. I think with the Kings' strength with the lack of strength in the Kings' remaining schedule, I think the Kings can make it, and I think it's between Dallas and Vegas. I'm gonna say it's gonna hinge on that game against that they're gonna play each other, and that's gonna determine who's gonna make it between those two.
Okay.
I think that LA has a much easier route to the playoffs than I think either Vegas or Dallas, and I think that game against each other could be it.
Okay. So talking about Colorado real fast, Kemper's on a hot streak heading into postseason, 49 saves in the 2-1 win over Edmonton. He had a great playoffs versus Predators in the bubble. Edmonton could have had Kemper too, which is good job, Edmonton. Colorado scares the crap out of me. I think that they do make it past that second round. I think they get to the Cup Finals, which would be a lot of fun to watch them play in the Cup Final. Doug Wilson's leaving the GM post for the Sharks after 19 seasons. Obviously, he had the great relationship with the owner, and they're looking for a new person to kind of step in. Joe Will is, I think, leading the search along with the ownership. The cap is going to be up to $82.5 million next year. So $1 million up. Still, waiting for that big jump to happen like it was supposed to a bunch of years ago.
And the Devils will still be maybe at the floor.
Yep. We talked about guys leaving the game, Getzlaf retiring end of season, guys joining the game. number 1 overall pick in the draft 2 years ago, Owen Powers.
He's going to
debuting
play
for the
this week.
Sabres. Yep, he plays tomorrow.
Yep.
Matt Beniers signs with the Kraken, will make his debut soon. He's number 2 overall pick. Ken Johnson will make his debut for the Blue Jackets. Flyers got Bobby Brink, who was a Hobie Baker finalist. He obviously won the NCAA title with Denver. Denver beating Minnesota State 5-1 for the 9th title. Yeah, so a lot of good young players coming in and kind of making a name for themselves, and we'll see, how they do, in their rookie years. Well, actually not rookie years, right? They're not going to burn any years. They'll probably do only 8 or 9 games.
No.
But they'll have them.
I'll tell you what, Owen Powers' parents missed a grand opportunity to give their kid a great name like Max Powers.
Max Powers. That would have been pretty cool.
Powers to extreme and so on.
Yeah, that would be good. I like that.
You know that if the 3 of us and Steven included in 4, if our last name was Powers and we had a kid, we would have to name it Max.
Absolutely, or at least this.
Yeah.
And, I would throw Mike DePew into that mix. Mike DePew would absolutely do that.
He would do it
Before
too.
any of us, I would assume.
Yeah.
Can always bring it back
a couple
to the
things.
Simpsons.
The NHLPA had its meetings, with the agents and Donald Fair. There a lot of talk about how. Well, I should actually told you this, guys, before Shorts got talked about the Kings. Drew Doughty out for the season after wrist surgery, so without their star defenseman.
Yikes.
Islanders forward Casey Cizikas suspended the game. And so we're talking about NHLPA, Donald Fair, and a lot of people asking when he's going to be ousted. He has said he has no formal plans to any form of succession plan. He's saying that he's only discussed it with the players. So Fair's going to be 74 in July, and they're talking about possibly the board, executive board comprised of the 32 team player representatives can vote to change leadership. So that might happen soon. Obviously, they went into more stuff in regards to the Kyle Beach independent investigation. They discussed the 5,000-seat arena for the Arizona State for the Coyotes, which actually we'll end on this one because I had wrote these notes down a couple of weeks ago and we never got a chance to really get into them. But at the Arizona arena right now, working on Glendale, that's the thing. The players had a meeting with ownership. They discussed everything from dressing, how to get there, why are we doing this, and how this will affect free agents and prospects. So I guess a lot of questions that came out of this were like, are we going to get bussed over to because the practice arena is not anywhere close to the game arena, and the whole point is to have that close so you could just go and kind of filter in and from your morning skate. So now they're asking, how do we get there? Are we going to be dressing in a rundown Arizona State hockey, locker room? Are they going to get a brand new gym system? So this whole thing was discussed, and players and their wives were angry, and there's a lot of rumors about how it did not go over very well between these players and the leadership for the NHL, and it just figures because
the franchise
they can't seem to
in shambles.
It's bad.
It is.
It's really bad.
I'll tell you what though, if I'm one of the 18 fans that Phoenix has, Arizona, whatever, being in a small arena like that, and you see some of the bigger teams come in, like Vegas, from the West, or Edmonton, could you imagine seeing a player like Connor McDavid in a small 5,000 seat arena?
Yeah,
that. Things that, for the 4 or 5 fans that are going to be there, is wild, and it's going to be on a college campus. So you know, is it on the college?
Oh, they're going to get. Yeah, they'd be really smart if you can't sell a ticket, you give it away to college kids so that they can just ruckus it up, get a full barn every night. Yeah, I mean, college games are fun to watch. It's just to see an NHL team
Not for nothing, Arizona is not a bad hockey program, surprisingly. They're right up there with the other surprise that was always kind of a perennial good team was Alabama. Huntsville was always good.
Yeah.
So it's it's not that Arizona's it's not NHL quality arena, but man, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be some interesting times on campus. That's for sure. I think that's probably what the wives are a little bit worried about, that their husbands are going to be out there on a college campus after.
Shorts guy, you just
That's
exactly.
what they're complaining about. That's what they're complaining about.
Shorts guy,
that's
can
it
you
is.
name what goalie you were most recently talking about? Went to Alabama Huntsville.
A goalie?
You
that
just
went to
mentioned him
Alabama
today.
On the show?
Yeah.
Nigel Dawes.
Nope.
Damn.
A guy he mentioned possibly wanting on his team.
Oh, Hellebuck?
Nope.
Hellebuck?
Gibson?
Nope.
So it's either
Nope.
Hellebuck
Shit.
or Cam Talbot.
Cam Talbot, Alabama Huntsville,
Damn.
Talbot.
Minnesota
Alabama.
Wild,
Wow.
2007 to 2010.
Alabama
Okay.
Huntsville.
And then
There you go.
he was drafted by the Rangers.
All right.
Alabama Huntsville. Lastly, Bettman predicting the players could repay escrow by 24-25, which means you would see the cap increase in 25-26. And then there's still conversations about.
I thought you said Batman. I'm like,
Sorry,
really?
Bettman.
That's awesome.
There are still conversations about the 2024 World Cup of Hockey in the summer. And I do have it on my list still on one of our boring days to discuss what I think should happen in terms of teams, because obviously you need 8 to have a tournament. So
Yep.
I will discuss this with you guys in a future episode, but I got some good
Okay. Cliffhanger. I like it.
Yep. Lastly, we talked about Arizona. We'll do the 500 goal guys not in the Hall of Fame next couple weeks. Mathews, his pace right now is actually 471. So that would be pretty cool. I absolutely agree. Yeah, you want to see goal scoring. You don't want to see, you want to see guys.
I want to see a good old American boy.
Yeah.
Score 70 goals and win, hopefully, the MVP.
Which is kind of funny, because Austin Mathews is a product of the NHL moving
Arizona,
Winnipeg. Yeah. As a product of Arizona being in the league, and you have Austin Mathews. That right there should be a selling point to keeping that team there, or to new ownership. Like, the league should be doing something like, hey, listen, we have Austin Mathews because of the Coyotes. And that was the whole expansion of all the Sun Belt teams.
You mean it wasn't Tyson Nash? Or whatever the hell his name is?
Tyson Nash.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Toronto actually had the Pokemon jersey. They played with it. Did you see that? The black jersey, the yellow.
No.
Yeah, they played a game with it. Yep.
Oh, with the the other side, the reverse side. You're talking
the
about?
reverse side, the Pokemon with the yellow.
Yeah. They played a game in that, or they warmed up in it?
They played a game in it.
Holy shit!
Yeah. All right.
Wow.
So,
how was your beers?
Before we go.
Oh, sorry.
Before we go, I need to tell a story of an awesomely awful sporting event I saw this weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Actually, yeah. So for any of the listeners that don't know, I choose to run races, which is pretty dumb while you're doing it. Anyway, I try to pick races that begin and or end at a brewery. So I did one over the weekend down in Wildwood, and they had a 5K, and then they had a beer mile. This is the first time that the beer mile has been done by this racing company, and it was you chug a beer, run a quarter.
There you go.
And that's what I was just getting into. So the way that this one was set up, you chugged a beer, ran a quarter-mile lap. Chugged the second beer, lap number 2. Chug a third beer, lap number 3. Chug a fourth beer, lap 4. And you have your winner. So I'm watching this, and even like with the lead up, I'm like, this is just stupid. Nothing I would ever personally want to do. It was down at one of a brewery that we've all been to, Mud Hen Brewery, down in Wildwood.
Great brewery.
It started and ended. It was with Mud Hens. I think they're pills. So I watched the women's heat. I went inside so I can have some beers during the men's heat. And I'm watching the women's heat, and they're chugging their beers. They chugged the first beer pretty quick lap. They got back. The second beer went down a little bit slower. That second lap, a little bit slower. That third beer, that third beer went much slower than the rest.
Yeah, I can
Um,
imagine.
It was like
Yeah,
Schwinn
and then
halfway
that
through the
fourth-
power hour.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I was
Oh,
hurting.
I got a
But-
great beer for Steven.
They I'll tell you what. The race director for this company, Delmo, is meticulous on his rules. They had rules. If you did not finish your beer in the transition zone, or if you spilled too much of your beer, you were docked 2 minutes.
Oh,
And
wow.
if you puked at any point during the race, you were docked another 2 minutes. But you can
Oh,
only be
damn.
docked a max of 4 minutes. One of the girls, I believe, did puke because they were kind of ushering the rest of them around a big spot in the street. But they actually shut down the main drag in Wildwood, Rio Grande Avenue, so that they could do this magnificent event.
bad.
They did it well. They had music. They
That's pretty
had
great.
lights. I would watch it again. I went inside for the men's race, but someone who was outside watching both, one of the Mud Hen guys, said that the women were chugging their beer better than the men.
Oh, boy. Yep.
Good job, man.
And I'll tell you what, the winning girl ran her beer mile in something like 7:37 or 7:47, something like that. a sub 8 beer mile.
That's
To
a
me, that's
professional.
wild.
That's a professional.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then she did a cartwheel. Now when she did that cartwheel, I was like, oh, here it comes. It's gonna come up. But it
Yep.
didn't.
Yeah,
Wow.
cartwheel, not a smart idea.
Oh yeah. It made my stomach turn, and then I went and had beer of my own. So
Nice. All right. Did that play?
I don't hear
not
anything.
yet. Still waiting for it. I don't hear anything yet.
Oh, now I hear it.
Ooh.
I will give my beer a nice 4. It's very good.
I concur. 4.0 for mine.
Ooh.
And I also give my chips and hummus a 5.0.
Nice. I got to give this a 4.5. I love Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. It's great.
Good old,
Nice.
good old
Summer
reliable.
beer.
All right,
old
sure, take it
reliable.
home.
Can you see who that
You
is?
That's Austin Mathews, but you can't see the.
It's also Matt and Ron Jeremy.
I like it.
The meme says it's Austin Mathews.